Okay, this is the reflection for task 7. Noticing when students are not engaged. I think that's a tough one. I've had kids that I thought were engaged that weren't engaged, and kids that I thought weren't engaged were engaged. Usually that surfaces after an assessment. That's when I usually notice if they're engaged or not engaged. Managing response rates. I like to keep a lively pace. Usually I do something that's doable for all kids, ESL kids, special education kids, and usually most of them can do 5 things very quickly. Using physical movement, I had the dance, the chicken dance. Also try to get them up and moving with other things. Maintaining a lively pace, I thought I did pretty good on that. I could do better on that overall. Demonstrating intensity and enthusiasm. I don't know. I could do that better, but I feel like I'm pretty good at that. Presenting unusual information or intriguing information. I thought the story kind of did that. We talked about having a party. The kids seemed to be engaged when I started talking about beer, but the intention was that they shouldn't have beer at parties, and that when I was a kid, a lot of kids died. From where I grew up by E3, Wyoming. Using friendly controversy, I tried to do that a little bit in the story by having an argument about whether they would have German beer or American beer, which again is bad. That was the point of the story. Using academic games, I used the GIM kit. The kids really like GIM kit. It reviews the vocabulary that they've already learned and gives them a lot of feedback on what they do and don't do. One thing I'd like to improve on that is after a while, they are not usually as engaged. Today they were really engaged. But if I use it too much, they can unengage. So I like to have a lot of different possibilities there. I'd like to even find more ways to use academic games. Providing opportunities for students to talk to each other. Wanted them to tell each other a story about a party that they had. I think this gives them an opportunity to talk about themselves. I think that's the importance of stories, is that they can talk about themselves, not what I want them to talk about, not about a classroom, not about parts of the body and things like that, but they can actually talk about things that are important to them. Motivating and inspiring students. I still think I'm weak at motivating and inspiring students. I think it is motivating to them to do the stories because it's about them. It's about something that they're interested in, something that's important to them. Establishing and maintaining classroom rules and procedures. Had the poster on the wall. I think that's one I can just really improve on. I need to work on consistency. I need to work on I think that's the big one, is being consistent. Organizing the physical layout of the classroom. Really couldn't do anything about that because of COVID. They want the desks in rows. And that's kind of non-negotiable. They want a seating chart. But I do know how to do the Marsano organization, which I like a lot better. But hopefully after COVID, I can go back to that. Demonstrating with itness. That one's, I just think you have to have eyes in the back of your head. That's tough for me. I'm teaching. I think I just need to be more aware of what kids are doing. Acknowledging adherence to rules and procedures. I think not just be negative, but to be more positive. Notice good things. I need to be a lot better on that. I try to be positive, but I think I could do that a lot more. Applying consequences for lack of adherence to rules and procedures. Could be better at that. There's a lot of things I could do for that would be consequences. A lot of these, the thing I've noticed the most is if I have a better relationship, which I've worked on this year, that's not as necessary, but I do need to have better consequences. Using verbal and nonverbal behaviors that indicate affection for students. I think I've gotten a lot better at that. I've really focused on that this year. It's one thing I want to get better at. Understanding students' interests and backgrounds. I think that's why the stories are great, because they can talk about their backgrounds, they can talk about their interests, and that's motivating to them. Displaying objectivity and control. I think I'm pretty good with that. Could do it better. Sometimes it's tough to keep your cool. Demonstrating value and respect for low expectancy students. I think I've done a lot of research on that. My wife is a special education CT, and learned a lot about it's not just, you need to present things in a different way for them. Asking in-depth questions of reluctant learners. Thought I did good on that. Just not taking, you can't just sit there, but making sure that every student in my class can perform all the translations necessary. In-depth questioning about reluctant learners. Again, I question them and make sure they know it. Nobody gets out of there without knowing the things. Probing incorrect answers with reluctant learners, same thing. I make sure every kid in my class gets 100%, and I don't take less than that. Everybody knows it. And that's my reflection. Thank you.